Hey everybody, it's Brickwaffle here, and today I'm excited to announce the beginning of a new series, Modded Minecraft Let's Play. Now that the Hermits have released their Modsauce mod pack, I've decided to go ahead and give this a try. I know several of you have asked me to do Feed the Beast mod packs before, or some of the other mod packs that are out there, and I've kind of resisted until now. I've been watching some of the Hermits videos. This is really interesting to me. There's a lot going on. I've spent a little bit of time this week researching what to do. And I just want to let you know that yes, I do have some nice tools down here. I have played for a little bit last night when I first got the server up and running. My wife wanted to check it out as well, so we did some playing for about 2 or 3 hours. Managed to get ourselves a bit of osmium, and this says blue steel. It's really not steel, it's just osmium as well. And made ourselves some decent tools with a bit of moss, which is pretty easy to come by in this mossy cobble area. And I can see that there's definitely a volcano out that way since there's a tree that's on fire. But we have these starter houses that kind of generate randomly in the world, and so I decided that I would pick that up and use this as my beginning base here. And you can see that we've also put in some of the RPG Advanced Mod signs, and we're using waypoints with the map as well. So I have a fancy sign here that says Brickwaffle on my little hut. We've got a sign over here to the village, and that village actually came with a bit of a smeltery, and a couple of houses that had all the tool stations in it. There's actually a dungeon, you can see that's pretty close to that as well. And then there's actually a dungeon right in the village in addition to that. So I haven't gone down there yet. I know from watching the Zoom Avoid videos that going into a dungeon unprepared can be a disaster. So I'm going to learn the lessons that I can from watching their videos, learn what I want to do first. And some of the things that I want to do is get a little bit of independent setup over here. I want to try and get my own smeltery set up on this side. So I don't have to constantly run back to the village to smelt things. And that shouldn't be too bad, because to get that smeltery started, all we really need is some grout. And that is clay, sand, and gravel, which we have most of in abundance right here off the side of our house. So you can see we do have some salt blocks, some sand. Gravel shouldn't be hard to find out here either, and it looks like we might have some clay over here. Yeah, we've got some clay as well. So we'll start digging this up, and no surprise to any of you who watch my other videos or who can identify my name, I'm pretty familiar with clay. So one thing I do want to do is go back to village and get an excavator, and I will be right back. Alright, and we are back. You can see that I picked up some food. I also grabbed some crafting tables from the village. There's a little bit of a weird texture issue with this pattern chest, but we're going to have to fill that up later as well. You can see that I have already started gathering some materials, but I'm going to go back at it right now. And I just want to make sure I can gather enough stuff to make a smeltery. So we need seared bricks for that. That's not too hard to find. We're also going to need seared bricks to make seared glass. And you can see, let's go ahead and get some squid as well. We can use our cleaver here. There we go. Well, hello, come on. Where you are. Spirit. Oh. Alright. I believe the spirits have something to do with witchery. That's really all I know about them. They can be a little bit annoying when you're out here, but there's a witch coven right across the way from us. That's exciting. I think I mentioned that earlier. And we will get into magic later on, but for now, we just want to start with gathering up all the materials that we can. And having an excavator really helps get takes out this 3x3 area. And that's very, very quick for getting all this material. And you can see now, here's all the gravel we're going to need as well. Let's make sure we don't drown. We don't have any armor, let alone water-breathing armor. That'll be, well, actually we do have copper armor. We don't have anything exciting yet, so we don't want to do something foolish and drown, especially while we're recording. That would be very embarrassing. So I'll have to keep coming back up for air every now and then. One thing that I do want to know from you guys that do play modded Minecraft a lot is, can you enchant some of these weird custom armors that you can make? I mean, the copper stuff, I imagine you can. It's just looks just like the regular armor. But I know there's some other stuff later on. There's some sorts of magic armors and Thaumcraft and all sorts of stuff I'm not familiar with yet. Please let me know what you guys think. What would be a good starting set of armor to go after when I'm just getting into modded Minecraft here? So let's go back up. Yeah, this should give us plenty of gravel. And then we'll have to go back and get some sand as well. So we know we need basically 4 clay balls, 4 gravel, and 4 sand for every grout combined that we make. So I'm going to keep gathering this stuff, and I will be back with you guys in just a little bit. Alright, we've got a couple of stacks of everything we need, so we're going to go put that into our furnaces downstairs and start cooking that up into some grout. Let's see. Well, first we need to combine it into grout, and then we can cook it up. So let's see, we need to make some of these into clay balls, into clay blocks rather. And let's just do these as well. Put those up there, and there's that, and that. That should be good. And not quite enough. That's pretty close though. Not too bad for our first foray out there. And you can see that we have quite a bit of grout. We have more than we're going to need for a long time. So yeah, 4 stacks plus a little extra. We're going to start smelting that into seared bricks. I did bring some coal over from the village, so I can start that right now. And when that's all done, we are going to have plenty of seared bricks. Now I know there are better furnaces in the game already, and I know that I could probably just use this with hoppers into a chest like I've done in my regular Let's Play series, but for now, starting out, this is all I'm intending to do. These furnaces are not going to be that useful for anything other than cooking food here once we get started. So it is nighttime, or getting to be nighttime again. I'll go upstairs to sleep, make that daytime. And then we can start figuring out what else we need to do. And yes, this server does not have hardcore questing mode enabled. Did not realize that was a separate config when I started the server. I guess I could go back and change that, but right now, I don't really see the need to. So one of the other things that we definitely want to get right away when we're making our house is a chisel. So let's take a quick look at the recipes here and make sure we can find the right chisel. So I know Tinker's Construct has a chisel. That's not exactly what I was thinking of. I think it's this one, yep, from the chisel mod. We just need a stick and an iron ingot. So we are going to run back to the village while all that grout is smelting. And voila, we have iron ingots. So now we just need to make some of this wood into sticks, which that's more than I needed. And let's see, we can get rid of all that stuff for now. We're going to have to make some chests pretty soon, but I don't want to make a whole lot of wooden chests. I want to go ahead and get the smeltery set up, make some iron chests. But for now, we can make a chisel, and that's going to help us make some of our blocks look a lot more interesting. So let's go check on that grout downstairs, see how much of it we have cooked into seared bricks. Okay, we've got plenty here to start making some of this stuff. Alright. And let's come back up top, and we know we're going to need a smeltery controller. I believe that's a smeltery controller, yep. And a smeltery drain or 2. Let's go ahead and make 2 of those. And we're going to need a smeltery tank, which I believe is a cross of glass, and then some bricks like that. Oh, that's actually seared glass. There is a tank recipe. Let's go ahead and check that out. And I apologize for the loud keyboard and mouse. I know I've heard some comments from a couple of my real-life friends who watch these that can be pretty annoying. So hopefully that doesn't bother you guys too much. Alright, there we go. Seared tank. And let's go ahead and actually make a few more of those seared glass blocks. We want to have that nice little indicator so that we can see how much material is actually in, let's see, our tank. Alright, now the next thing we need to do is make enough bricks to build this smeltery itself. I want to go ahead and get as many of those as I can right now. And then I know we're going to need some for faucets as well, so let's see, we probably have a few more in each of these. Oh yeah, that's smelting up nice and fast. And the other thing we're going to need is some buckets, so it looks like we have enough to make 3 of those. That's going to help us get some lava when we get this all together. Let's see, so we need some faucets, which I believe is just that. Yep, let's get 2 of those. And let's put that, we don't need that mystical flower for now. Put the rest of those into bricks. And let's go figure out where we want to put this. So I think this area right out here beside the house is probably good. I don't want to put the smeltery inside the house just because if we want to grow the tank up larger in the future, that could be pretty annoying. So let's see, we need an area that's 3 by 3 for the base. There we go, that's easy. Love that excavator. And then let's put in some seared bricks in the bottom. And we're going to need, oops, this side, like that. One of the things we're going to need to do is, oh, looks like we've got some visitors, some unwelcome guests. Gotta love the osmium cleaver. So one thing we do need to make sure we do is leave room for the controllers and the faucets. We're probably going to want to put the controllers on maybe this side. So let's take that back out. And that'll probably be the tank as well. Let's put those in. tank and controller, and then over here we're going to put in the 2 faucets. And actually we should probably raise this up just a little bit so that the chest is at the right level. And we can dig into that, that shouldn't be a big deal. So let's go ahead and put in some of these other pieces. As I said, we're going to put the tank right there. And the controller can go right here. And then we're going to need those 2 drains here and here. And that should be our first level done. So one thing that we probably want to do is take that back out and put in glass for that, the seared glass. And we can go up 1, 2, 2. Let's take that back. And it looks like our buddy Torcata has joined the server, so that's pretty exciting. Let's see, put in some seared bricks around the edges. We're not going to have enough to obviously do this whole layer yet, but we will be back in just a moment when we do. Well, actually, I take it back. We do have enough to do this layer. Perfect. So we're going to need a few more bricks. We're going to need 11 more. And then we're also going to need some casting tables. We can put our faucets on now, though. And we know we're going to need to dig out some of this material. So we're going to have... Looks like it took him a long time. All of us are pretty new at modded. So we're going to have our casting tables down here, and then underneath those are going to be some hoppers into a chest. So we probably will actually be able to get to this from our basement really easily. Let's go ahead and dig that out and see where that comes in. That's going to be interesting, so we'll have to see what that looks like when we try to connect it up. That is our basement wall right there. That should be the floor of the house, and then this should be the basement. Yep. So we can just put in a little door here, some stairs, and then we'll have our outside access. We can cover this up, make this a little easy access to the smeltery from the basement area. That should be very interesting. But while we're down here, let's go ahead and grab up some bricks. And we are going to need a chest sooner rather than later, so let's go ahead and do that. I know we're going to need chests to make barrels anyway, so this isn't a total waste. But for the short term, let's just go throw a few of these down here. And throw another one over this way. And we'll just throw all the stuff that we don't need immediately in there. Actually, the rest of the chest can go in there too for now. Alright, so let's make sure we know what the recipe for the casting tables are. Casting table, that's the facade. There's the casting table. So it's just a table shape out of seared bricks. We're going to need 2 of those. And then we're also going to need to get some ingot casts. So that won't be too bad. We're just going to need to get the correct materials to make those casts. We have some gold back in the village. And we also have, I believe, some aluminum, so we could probably make aluminum brass. It might be a little bit cheaper. We'll have to go see how much of each of those we have. But in the short term, let's put those in. And that is actually sufficient to actually start making anything we want, really. We could at least start making our own casts if we had the right materials. Let's go ahead and make the rest of this into seared bricks. And we'll go finish out the top of this tank. Think we can make this jump? Probably not. Oop, not if we don't jump. Alright. So let's come around this side, and we'll put in the rest of these bricks. And that will probably do it for now. Let's put the rest of those in just because we have them. We know we're going to need another piece of seared glass in the future. But this will definitely get us started. We just need to go ahead and get some lava fuel for that. We need some iron for hoppers and a little chest right here. So we are going to head back to town to gather a few more materials, and we'll resume again in just a moment. Alright, I'm back, and I've made a little bit of progress down here. You can see I've added a crafting station. That's not very exciting, but I've also added a small smeltery on this side. You can see it's just the minimum size, 3x3. It fits into the wall here, and this will allow us to cast individual pieces for our tools once we get some casts made. I'm also going to put in a tool forge right down here so that we can easily make those tools one at a time. But through this carpenter's door with the seared bricks, we have our auto smeltery set up now. So we've got our redstone clocks over our faucets, over our casting tables with the ingot casts on them, going into hoppers that feed into a gold chest. This will allow us to automatically smelt quite a bit of materials into ingots. And then this copper chest here is where we can put stuff that will go outside through some transfer pipes into the smeltery controller here. And you can see we've got quite a bit of space in this one because it is so tall now. So that just means we can safely sit here, dump all of our ores in here that we don't want to accidentally make alloys, so we don't dump things that can combine like gold and silver unless we want electrum. And that will fill up in here and give us all the ingots that we need. We can then take those ingots and recast them if we need to in here. I think storing the metals as ingots is the most efficient way for now. If we do get a lot of ore, we might end up storing them as blocks, and that's easy. We just replace one of these with a casting basin instead of a casting table. So the next step is to make a tool forge, and then also to make some more casts for different parts that we need. So to do that, we're going to need to get quite a bit of gold or aluminum brass. I used up a fair amount from the village making my 2 iron ingots, or my 2 ingot casts rather. So let's go ahead and take a look at the tool forge. You can see I've been looking at the cast recipes. Tool forge is, just to be sure, a tool station, some iron, and some seared bricks. And that's just a crafting station and a blank pattern. So that should be pretty easy to make. Let's go ahead and get some materials here. There's our crafting station, and then I believe the blank patterns are just this. Yep. So then we should be able to make our tool station. And now we just need to get some blocks of iron and some seared bricks. So let's go looking for materials. Actually, before we do that, let's go ahead and sleep one more time before we start exploring at nighttime. You can see that our copper armor is wearing down fast, and we don't want to be caught out in the middle of the night without any armor. Alright. So I believe that there are a couple of caves over this way. I didn't spend a whole lot of time exploring when I picked this place to start my house. I just saw that it already had a basic structure. Oh, hello. Probably going to be better with the cleaver. Yeah. Alright. It looks like we have another one of those ruined buildings over there. Really what we need to do is get some iron, and I can see it. Ooh. Hello. That looks like a very silly trap that someone's already triggered. We'll go ahead and grab these iron tools. That's probably all we want out of here. And I believe that there will be more dungeons out there that are a little bit more dangerous than that. I just haven't done a whole lot of exploring. You can see that we've marked one over there that we definitely want to go back to at some point. Yeah, here we go. So we needed some iron. And we've got some copper there. I apologize, it's probably pretty dark. Some more osmium, that could be helpful. And this looks like it goes down pretty quick. Oh yeah, here we go, more iron. Now we will come back here and gather a lot of this material just so we can start smelting. But for now, we just want to focus on one thing at a time. It's really easy to get sidetracked, at least for me with these mods. There's so many options. You can find yourself going down a rabbit hole very quickly and not realizing what you were intending to do. Let's go ahead and grab this iron as well. And we probably ought to grab up all the osmium we see. That's a pretty decent set of armor material as far as I can tell right now. But that looks like all the readily available osmium. That's a dead end. We'll come back for some of this other stuff later. Did I check that? Is that silver? Tin ore. Okay, not too worried about tin at the moment. And this, because there's tin ore from Mechanism and tin ore from Thermal Foundation, only some of which is smeltable in our Tinker's Construct smeltery. Oh, Ceres quartz too. That's kind of handy for the deep storage. So I know we'll grab that too, because I know that some of you are going to insist that I do deep storage right away. That's probably a good idea, and it does take quite a bit of that kind of quartz. Oh, hello. And let's get back to the house before we die from poison. Well, not from the poison itself, but from a hit from anything after we've been poisoned. So, let's find a good spot to eat. Wait that poison out. Where did we come in? Oh, no, I remember coming in that way. Yeah, there we go. And here's a little more osmium we missed on the way in. And a little more iron. Well, that's convenient. We've got a couple of hearts. We'll have to be very careful on our way back, but it is still daytime, and we are not that far from home. We're only 70 meters from it. This is probably worthwhile. It would be... That's interesting. It's a gravestone. Don't really need a wooden sword, but that is interesting that those are just also randomly out here. We probably ought to make some drying racks. We might as well get some use out of this rotten flesh, turn it into some monster jerky. That's pretty easy, and I'm pretty sure we have enough spruce wood for that. But let's go ahead and throw this iron ore into our chest to make sure everything's working. So we've got that, and iron ore, and osmium will not alloy with iron, as far as I know, so that should be good. And we have some glowstone boots. It's interesting. We did pick up the wooden sword anyway, apparently. Alright, so we're going to need that iron to get smelted. Looks like it's all going into the furnace. We can see that it's stacking up in here, and then it's going to turn into liquid iron and start casting into ingots here shortly. We'll make a couple of those drying racks down here. Let's get some of those, and oops, get some drying racks. Let's do a few more of those. 8's probably good for now. And do we have any more grout down here, or did I use it up? We don't, so I'm going to need to put some more grout. Oh, we only have 2 clay blocks. Oh, that's fine. 2 clay blocks will work. Gravel. Do we have more than 2 gravel? We don't, so we're actually going to need to go get a little bit more of that as well. Before we do, let's go ahead and hang up our drying racks. Where should we put that? Maybe on the outside of this. Well, they attach to stone slabs. You know, it's sort of strange. I don't really like the look of that. Maybe they'll attach the iron bars. That'll work. And we'll just do 7 of those for now. We'll put one of those somewhere else just to display our items. But in the short term... Oops, and now I'm hanging my cooked beef up here. That is not necessary. Okay, so we've got some monster jerky cooking there. And let's go ahead and take... Oh, we have 1 seared brick that's exposed. Put a piece of sand in there for now. Our last drying rack will go over here, and we'll hang it up right there, and then we can hang items on it later when we get something interesting. For now, let's hang that useless wooden sword on it, just so we remember we're going to hang stuff there. Alright, so we needed some gravel, and maybe a little bit of clay. That's not going to be too hard. I'm going to go ahead and get that off camera, and I'll resume here in just a moment. Alright, we've got our tool forge in, our chest for some patterns. Our smeltery tanks are full for now. We've got some extra buckets down here, and our Ceres quartz crystals that we can use later. And I think that's going to do it for today's episode, so please do let me know what you think in the comments. Hopefully you enjoyed this series. If you do, please let me know. If you can think of some other things you'd like to see me do, please leave those in the comments as well. If you like this video, please give it a like. If you really liked it, please subscribe. And as always, I've been Brick Waffle. Thank you for watching.